Hello everyone, welcome to another interesting session where we are going to be discussing need request for payment voucher. We want to see a situation whereby user department can actually make a request for some kind of scenarios, let's say for petty cash or minor expenses that needs to be used for the organization. So this does not entail situation whereby you are making a request to pay a supplier. No, it's not a request for material request. This particular request is for cash, maybe a kind of minor cash, or let's use example, if it is a direct expenses, which means that you are not considering some kind of subsidiaries account involved. For instance, you are not updating your stock with it, you are not keeping records of suppliers, you are not keeping records of customers in this regard. So all you just want to know is that, oh, when a user needs something, let's say for the organization, it could be stationaries, it could be items as well, but it is not being kept, it's not being stocked. You understand? So you just want to expense it almost immediately. So that is what we are going to be discussing at this point. So now a user department raises a document called need request. In some scenarios, his line manager will have to approve it. But this particular workflow that I'm going to be discussing is for Bipopire group of company. So the need request here, or this request is going to be done by the user, then it is being approved by admin manager, then it flows on like that. So my name is Olumide Haino. I am your ERP consultant. So let's dive into the session. So there is a document called need request. This document is was custom created on ERPNext. So we are going to be looking at it where a user can actually raise this document. Then it is being sent to the admin manager, who also looks at it and verifies it before it is being sent to the finance department, or let me use the word sent to the financial controller. Before the financial controller would also approve it, then make it available for disbursement. So that's what we are going to look at. So look at this scenario here now. So all that has been explained in this flow chart, where the need request is raised, the admin manager verifies it. If it is approved, it goes to the financial controller, who approves it before it goes to the accountant for disbursement. So when it ends at that level, when it is being disbursed, but as this document moves from one level to the other, it updates some status. Now there are two documents that is going to be involved here. So I'm not talking about need request alone. I will be talking about payment voucher. So the need request is just to raise a request for this activity. Now this document is being used between the user department and the admin manager. But upon approving that document by the admin manager, the system automatically creates a payment voucher and sends it to the financial controller, because the document is actually supposed to be generated by the financial controller, which is the payment voucher. So the system would automatically create that based on the need request that has been generated. So it will create that, sends it to the financial controller. Financial controller looks at it, make sure that the details that was auto generated correspond to what is actually needed. You understand? Then if all things being equal, it sends it to the account department, it sends it to the accountant, who then disburses this fund. And when this fund is being disbursed, it will automatically update the financial controller as well, that this particular document or this particular process has been disbursed. Also, it will also update the need request document as well, stating that it has been disbursed. You understand? So that it carries everyone, all the stakeholders that are involved, it carries them along and it gives them updated information regarding that particular process. So let's go into the application. Let's see how this flows. So now, this is a custom document, or this is the screen that was actually created for that purpose. We have need request, so we can click on add new need request. Then you will see the information that are here. Because the system is also a multi company, it allows you to pick companies that have been created within the system. So what we are going to make use of here is, I'll just use the example of Bradama here, for instance. Yeah, so transaction date, that is the date at which this need request was raised. If this need request is supposed to be raised yesterday and I'm raising it today, fine, I can backdate it to that date. That is when that action is supposed to take place. So all I just need to do is to pick, let's say I pick that's for tomorrow. Let me say this was supposed to be for today. I make a request, then I can put time in. I can put the time for the request. Then also the need type. So we are choosing payment voucher. Now, upon payment voucher, the system will request that how much are you requesting? Let's say 50,000. Let's say 50,000. Now, we have a field here called on behalf of. This user that have logged into this system, this is the administrator. So you as a user logging into the system has already recognized you as a user. So yeah, you might want to pick your employee ID here, or you know, everybody within an organization might not have access to the application. It could be due to different reasons. It could be as a result of knowledge cap. It may be as a result of the users numbers that are involved and all that. So whatever reason it might be, this is, you as a user, you are raising it on behalf of a particular employee. So you might want to pick an employee, but if I'm raising this for myself, I don't need to pick an employee there. Then yeah, we have GL voucher category. A user does not understand what kind of account it should be posted into, but the user understands what purpose this need request is meant for. So what we try to do at this point is to give different purposes, provide different purposes, and also link them to a GL account, because the interpretation of whatever that is done here should be a reflection into the GL account. The finance guys make use of whatever transaction that is done here. So it is always better to map these understandings together, the user end and also the finance end, to map them together. So that is the essence why this was created. So GL voucher category, we are at this point speaking the language of the user. It could be accommodation. So this is the accommodation expenses related to office, blah blah blah, and all that. So we could see different categories. Categories can also be created. Now, these categories created here are actually linked to this company. So you might have various companies with different categories. So for instance, let's say this is for feeding expenses. I just pick feeding expense. So automatically, so that we would have a kind of agreed or an understanding of both parties, which is the finance guys and also the user. So the finance guys can actually see, oh, okay, based on whatever category that was selected, this is the GL account that is attached to it. Yeah, so that's has been done, and this also can allow the finance team to create more. They can decide to create more if they have the access to that. They can create more since they understand what their users should know. Then now, after that, picking that category, now purpose, is it administrative purpose or project? So when we say project, it means that we are analyzing it further. This particular transaction is for a particular project. Please note that this does not have to deal with suppliers' invoices. No. It could be maybe electric bulbs were bought for a particular project. Maybe at the site they need to see some. The site is dark as at that point in time, so they had to go and buy bulbs and all that. Because you want the project to absorb that cost, so it is important for you to pick projects here. Now, for this process relating to payment voucher does not have to go through an approver of the GM admin or the GM project. No, from based on the process that was discussed with us. So it does not need to, but if it needs to, then that can be reconfigured for that purpose. But this is a payment voucher that has to deal with the admin department alone. You understand? So this is, so is either I'm making it administrative. The difference between the two is that when I choose administrative, it does not request for a project, but when I choose project, it requests for a project. Now look at something here, because these two things, I don't want you to confuse it. There's what we call cost center. There's what we call project. They let me use the word, they serve the same purpose. But in this sense, or in this setup, we had to treat them separately. We have to treat them separately because both of them are for further analysis of GL transactions. For instance, I might have cost centers. So let's give an example of what are the cost centers that are under Bradama. Look at this now. So all the companies that, or all the entities that Bradama holds or Bibopire holds, we had to categorize it or recognize it as a cost center. So you can see Bibopire Charity Foundation, Estate. These are supposed to be companies of their own or entities of their own, but it is then being recognized as a cost center. You understand? So when the main company, which is Bradama, is chosen, you would see that these ones are also available for further analysis of transactions. So when I post a transaction, I can pick that particular cost center. So that's different. So for project, it's strictly project. So for project, it's projects, AKK, Ajaokuta, and all that. So Akanapu and all that. So I can have those ones as projects. They are the real project. You understand? They are the real project. They have let's say lifetime duration of lifespan. So we would recognize that as a project. But cost center is more like it's more like a branch. Let me use that word. Let's say it's a branch of the main company. So that's that's the difference between the two. So but for this purpose, I'll just choose main, which is Bradama itself. The cost should go to Bradama itself rather than going to cost centers, other cost centers. So I'll just pick then the project. If I'm not using any project, let me say this is administrative. So I won't pick. So now, as a user, remember this is a user capturing this document. As a user, the user can give details regarding this document. You can give the details. Let's say this is feeding expenses. Oh, we had a seminar, or there's a seminar coming on and all that. Okay, let's say so, just like that. If you have what is it called, pictures or whatever thing you want to attach, you can attach it through here. You can see this picture. It takes you to where you can upload your pictures and all that, just to drop that. So you can use this is more like your Word, so you can format it irrespective of how you want it. Then when I'm done, I just click on save as a user. So as a user, I click on save. Then I can come here. Save is just, let me keep this document. Maybe I still want to write something, or I want to verify some things and I don't want it to go up. It's just for me to save it. So by the time I use the word make request for payment voucher, it means it goes to the next level of authorization. Now, who is the next level of authorization? I'll click this, then it goes to awaiting admin manager for PV approval. So the status of the document, if I go back here, you will see that the status of this document, which is this is the status of this document, awaiting admin manager approval. So that is the status. You can do whatever you are done as a user. You can move on. Now, it sent a notification as well to the admin manager. The admin manager picks the same document up to verify, checks that okay, whatever thing that has been written here, is it okay? If it needs to write more information, it can make comments on it. So I think the font should be increased because guests will be joining, just like this. Then I can just say make a comment. So everybody that has access to this document would always see the comment that is being made on the document. So if all things being equal, I can just say that's if all things being equal. At this point, I can just say approve PV request. Say approve PV request. So immediately that is done, it automatically creates a payment voucher. What was raised earlier is a need request. The need request is between the user department and admin manager. So at this point, this document, the payment voucher, has been created, auto created, and sent to the financial controller. So if I see this document, you will see a document reference here as well. So this is the document reference to the payment voucher. So I can go and open the payment voucher screen to see it, or I can just open it as a new tab here. I'll just right click on it and open as a new tab. Now look at this. So as the financial controller, I'll pick this same document. You will see that at this end, now this payment vouchers can be generated without the need request. It can be generated on its own, but it is specifically for the finance guys, because it will tell them to pick a GL account, it will tell them to pick a lot of things and all that. An end user might not have information regarding that. So rather than the finance guys to create the document, the system, or to create a payment voucher for them, so which allows them to modify it. So at this point, when you are making payment out, it means that you are supposed to credit your bank. So the system does not know which bank you want to credit. The user that raised the payment voucher does not know which bank you are going to pay money out from. That's why it's done with his own. It comes here. So financial controllers pick the document, looks at it, okay, look at it to say, okay, all information correct. It can also reject the amount that is also written there, or convert the amount, reduce the amount to whatever he wants it to. So then at this point, he will then need to choose the bank. So by default, the system will bring a default bank account, but you need to change the bank account to what the bank is specifically, because all these have been interpreted in the GL account. So for the financial controller, all they just need to do is to pick let's say the bank. They pick their bank, and let's just say you need to give so this aspect of the document is for the financial guys. So this is the financial controller doing all this to confirm if everything is okay. Then it clicks on save. It clicks on save. Now watch something here. This is the need request, which is raised between the end user, which is the normal user, the requester, and the admin manager. That document has ended as at that time. It has ended with them. So they don't have anything to do again, just to come and check the status of the document at every point in time. So let's say this is a document that was generated. You can see that request has been verified. Request verified by the admin manager. Now, if you look here, this is the payment voucher that is yet to be done. Let me just refresh this page to see that the status has not changed. So it is still so now the financial controllers look at it. If he's okay with it, then he approves it and say approve. Now when he approves it, the system will auto generate a journal entry as well. Create it as a draft and link it to this payment voucher. Then the need request, which is this is the need request it's talking about. You look at the number. Look at what it's saying. Marked as PV approved by FC. It means that it's only telling you that this document, when you refresh this document, the status will change. So PV approved by FC. That's what it means. So if you continue, so you can see this on the payment voucher also has been approved by FC. So I just click this to say, okay, so now remember a document has been generated, which is the journal entry. Now this journal entry is also being sent to the accountant. Remember, this is just an approval. Disbursement has not been made. So the accountant or the cashier or whoever is responsible for disbursing the money would have to come to this document that was auto-generated and submit it. So you submit it, meaning that it has been disbursed. If it has not been disbursed, it must not be submitted. It must not be submitted. So it will only tell you, oh, PML, payment voucher, whatever. This is where it's coming from and all that. So if you open this, it should show you the description as well, yeah, and all that. So when you are done, you just click on submit. So this activity is done by either the accountant or the cashier, whoever is disbursing the money. So immediately it does that. The system also, you remember there are 3 documents now that have been generated. Now the system has said that the payment voucher, whatever, and its need requests have been updated to PV disbursed. So if I check here now and refresh, you will see that PV disbursed. To only tell you, you as the end user, you don't have information to the payment voucher. You don't have, but you will always get an update from your document at every point in time. You will always know the status of your document. You can always come to your screen to always see the status of your document. So that is that about that. And also, yeah, the payment voucher. So whoever also is responsible for the payment voucher, in this case the FC, would also see an update of whatever that is done. So the payment voucher also is only indicating that PV disbursed on that particular document. So, and that's all about that. So let's see this. This has been submitted, and if you check your let's clear out this. So if I decide to check this, to check my ledger entries, I would see that my bank was credited while the feeding expense was debited. So that is just a simple flow of a need request to the point of disbursing by the cashier or the accountant. I hope you enjoyed this session. So thank you, and wait for another session. Thank you.